everyone, and welcome back. We're back again. Storm here.
Mom here.
Kimmy here.
We're going to be watching more What If today on episode 7. We've been really enjoying this series so far. I mean, every story is so different and extreme, intense,
Yes.
and so shocking. I know some of it's really far-fetched, but honestly, we're watching stuff about superheroes, time travel, multiverse, and just because of certain comments that I hear now and again about the zombies was really out there. I thought that was such a cool idea. You know,
That's right,
the
yeah.
fact that in the quantum realm, that the wife brought it back and all hell broke loose after that. And the Avengers, unfortunately, took it down, took down everything because trying to save humanity ended up destroying the universe, because then you had these superhuman zombies that could really still think and do their superhero moves, and it was just crazy. Yeah, so it was really scary. There were so many good episodes, and every single episode had such great moments in them, but a lot of them had very depressing, negative moments too. I mean, the most positive one that I can think of is the second episode with T'Challa. T'Challa changed the course of Thanos and made everyone a better person. Even looking at Nebula, she had a great relationship with her father.
She did,
There's just so many crazy things. Drax, his family survived because T'Challa helped his planet, right? And it was just so incredible. But then at the end of that episode, because Peter Quill wasn't taken by Yondu, Ego finds them and most likely destroys the universe.
Wow.
Yep.
And Doctor Strange destroyed his universe. That was a really good episode. That was depressing.
That was very sad.
Yeah.
You know, he was so desperate. And it also shows us, because thinking of the zombie one with Vision, you know, he is so logic with everything, and he even convinced himself, well, I'm still thinking logically, and this was the best course of action, until he was questioned, well, why didn't you just eliminate Wanda instead of keeping her here and killing innocents to feed her? And then he couldn't comprehend that, and then he's like, oh, and then he had to atone for it by killing himself. So it shows you that love, unfortunately, can really turn you in a bad way too.
Yeah.
That's not always the lesson, but it's just showing us in extreme ways what can happen with the best of people, you know, and it's just pretty mind-boggling.
Yes, it takes the clarity away. Yeah.
Yeah. So this episode is called "What If Thor Were an Only Child?"
Oh.
Yeah.
There's no Loki and there's no Hela. Ooh.
I know. I mean, I am curious what that means. The first thing I think is Loki, but maybe it'll be good, because if there's no Hela there, I mean, she was horrible. I love the movie Ragnarok. That was such a great movie.
Yes.
It was on TV again the other day, and I watched parts of it. I was just dying the whole time. The humor in that is perfect. It's just such a well-made movie. And Hela, the goddess of death, was extremely scary, extremely powerful, and Ragnarok had to happen to get rid of her, right? Because she was getting her power from Asgard or something. So, anywho, I wonder if maybe she isn't in the picture too. So do they mean Loki, Hela, both?
Probably both. If he's an only child, he's an only child.
And I wonder how that'll differ too, because Thor, the first movie, we saw a very long time ago. That was when we were new to watching movies on the channel. You guys were still very new to the MCU. I think we were bad. We watched things out of order. So I think you saw Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one. I think that was your very first Marvel movie, because we weren't going to watch it. I mean, we weren't going to watch the Marvel series. We were just going to see how you reacted to a Marvel movie, because you never watch movies. And that was a great reaction. So after that, I think we watched Thor, close to that. And that was many years ago now. But anyways, we really enjoyed it. But from that movie, he was a hothead kind of. And he didn't want to seek out war, but he kind of was seeking out war a lot. And he didn't like anyone threatening his kingdom. So he kept going out and trying to fight other people, and his father banished him, you know, because he was disrespecting his father. And so I'm curious if he didn't have, but then Loki kind of also manipulated him to, that was still Thor's personality, but I remember Loki also kind of directed him in that way, but he didn't mean for it to go so far, because he didn't expect Thor to be such a hothead in the moment to just push forward and fight. So anywho, I'm curious on what would happen with Thor.
I would be curious. Maybe he'll be a spoiled brat.
Yeah, because that's kind of
demanding
what
hair
I'm.
products.
Yeah, give me those hair products. But I'm thinking from the first movie, which I love Thor. I'm not trying to bash him at all, but he was kind of a brat in the first one. He had to learn, by being banished to Earth
Definitely,
to
Yes.
be humble.
He needed a timeout.
He needed a
Yeah.
timeout and to
Timeout,
understand,
for sure.
like pace himself better, like slow down, and really understand things as a whole, and not that you have to punch people all the time, and try to get your way all the
There's
time.
other
For
ways
sure.
to negotiate.
You don't seek out war. So shall we get into this episode?
Yes.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. 107.
What if?
I love that. His voice is so great.
For the win. This is it.
Darcy.
Or the... Yes! First try. Jade, you owe me 50.
Yes, I know this is the Parks Department, but isn't there something you can do?
Talking about the end of the world, my dude.
In Vegas, of all places.
Hopefully it stays in Vegas.
Yeah.
Oh,
Citizens of Midgard, for the Party Prince!
Party Prince? What?
A brotherhood so strong and pivotal, it would change the fate of a universe. Their childhood taught Thor many lessons. Without his trickster brother to keep things, let's say, lively, Thor grew into a very different prince.
He's asleep. I'm off to my sister's to celebrate the solstice.
What?
How?
Just like that?
Heimdall will be watching.
Wait, what? You can't be serious. Blah, 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 responsibility. Well, I'm not going to be like him. We are going to the most backwater planet that not even Heimdall pays attention to.
Oh, God. Earth.
Thunderheart. Oh, it never runs out. Huzzah!
Huzzah.
Him?
oh my goodness.
You can make first contact with, I don't know, that guy. He looks like a loser.
Oh, he's back.
Oh my gosh.
Yes?
Ooh, she's too tiny.
Sent to himself.
There you are, all the way down there.
Topaz.
Oh, God, he's there too. The Grandmaster.
18 months ago, Alpha Star Icarus died. The astro anomaly that preceded it happened
Don't drink too
again
much.
tonight.
Found him in a barn, curled up next to a baby goat. That's classic. Isn't that right, Foundrel? I named him Gary.
I named him Gary.
Do all geniuses have such deep, dark eyes? It's like watching the birth of two stars on the edge of the galaxy.
Oh.
Oh shit.
Love it.
Release the foam.
Release the foam.
The phone. Okay. Okay.
They got hitched. Magic science. This is hilarious. I love it.
Oh my.
So many stories. Yes, Holy Ghost.
Phone.
Dr. Jane Foster, this is S.H.I.E.L.D.
Rocket's there too. I love it.
Yes?
You were the first to warn us about this extraterrestrial threat. Now I hope you will be the key to eliminating it.
Threat?
Before someone gets hurt, I need more cannons.
Oh
no!
God, look at whoa.
No.
Oh gosh.
Okay. He's still unconscious.
Director, the party atmosphere seems to be spreading.
Those.
Canada, Mongolia, even Pennsylvania Dutch country.
Did he say where he was going?
Smooth.
Thanks.
Sarcasm.
Paris. One of his compatriots was, and I quote, jonesing for crepes.
Diplomatic relations? Is that what the kids are calling it?
You're wrong, Doctor. This isn't S.H.I.E.L.D.'s first alien rodeo.
A beeper?
Alright, here we go. Nuzzle on in. Everyone
He gets around with everyone.
It is.
I love that word. Waffles with maple syrup and whipped cream on top.
God.
He's here. Talking to me? Did you boom?
No, I didn't boom. Did you boom? You always boom.
I never boom. I only boom in private. Loki, look, it's a shooting star. Make a wish. Oh.
Oh, it's Captain Marvel. I thought it was a meteor.
I mean, I'd hope the Ice Bros would show, but Loki himself, Prince Loki?
Are you kidding? I wouldn't miss this for the world.
Listen, bud. Clean up this mess.
Punch.
There's a Midgardian word for women like you. Party pooper.
Everyone's like,
How about you?
Smooth move, bro.
Oh my god.
Look, pal. I'm gonna count to 3.
wow. Oh my god, all the way over there.
God.
Stonehenge.
Don't knock him.
No.
Stop.
Oh, but I just have to do a little boop.
Thor. They're both getting punched across. That's awesome.
There it is. Woo, let's do this.
Wow, they're equally matched.
Oh my goodness.
You know, I'm starting to. Ow, not the hair!
Not the
Not
hair.
the hair.
Oh, look at that. Shooting star. Ooh, just that.
Oh gosh.
You need a party pooper.
Goose.
Ooh,
Goose.
Yeah, Goose over the orange cat.
that your skills can't cash.
No.
Flurgan.
Taking down Kappa Kappa frat freak won't be worth the fate.
Ooh, what about South Dakota? Or North Dakota?
You're the nicest, prettiest Midgardian woman that I've ever met.
How many Earth women have you met?
2, but the other one hit me with a bridge, and well, that hurt more than my face. No, of course not. Even the baby goat Gary got home safely.
I gotta go. Love you.
Ooh.
Ooh.
He's a lughead, sure, and far from the brightest crayon in the box, but this plan is way over,
Thor.
and I refuse to let it happen.
Mrs. the Duck.
Mrs. the Duck, did they get married too?
Calls me sweet lady.
Hello.
Real late.
Oh my god.
On the phone.
I love this episode.
Twist, he's right. Oh,
Oh, shoot.
Oh my god.
Teenagers throw a party, it gets out of control.
And a Heimdall.
He-Man who now?
Hey, man. No.
People in there.
Ooh. Not good. Crash. Ooh.
Oh, there she goes.
Aww.
position.
Arm the nukes.
What?
Just in case she gets distracted by a cat.
Ready to fire on your command.
Fire in 5.
Oh my
I
god.
gave you a warning. Help.
Crown Prince of Asgard, only son of Odin, what are you doing?
Mother! Obviously in my room studying. They came down here for a cultural exchange.
Cultural exchange.
Oh, you know us, the warriors for knowledge.
We never get to fire the nukes.
It's been bad for you, Blondie.
Please, you must help me. My mother is coming.
My suggestion?
He's like a little teenager.
Find a way out.
Great a slingshot.
Oh no. Oh, Drax. Oh god, you could escape.
Now! Iceman, let's bounce.
Oh my god.
Now listen.
Look who's pooping the party now. It is you. You pooping the party.
I think I hear my dad calling. Good luck.
My mother is coming. And she is not happy.
Even him.
Oh my
Well,
god.
that's good.
The longest travel ever.
He's sweating.
And to end our studies, what do we always say, class? See? Look at all this learning, huh?
Oh my gosh.
Thank you for helping educate my son.
Let's go.
Wait, Mother, I can explain. Thank you.
Oh, that's good.
You're welcome.
I'll call you Cools?
No, it is not Cools.
No, I know a whole planet full of unicorns. Even the waiters are unicorns. It's
Sounds
wonderful.
delightful. Pick me up.
Yeah! Unicorns?
They lived happily ever after. Wait, what?
Huh?
With all the Infinity Stones? Vision?
So what are you doing?
Stop it, Vision!
Yes.
No!
No.
Well,
Oh, Thor.
I gotta say, this was my favorite one.
Yeah, right. Gosh,
That's awesome, wasn't
fun.
it?
They're all good, but this one was so my kind of humor. I
It's a
freaking love
party
this
animal.
one. I was like in tears the whole freaking time. And not only that, but every second was full of comedy, witty remarks. Like, it was
Oh,
just full of
definitely,
so
yes.
much stuff. It was so good. Oh my God.
Very good.
It was great.
Too many
and when
points.
he was,
It was
before Mom was called, he was really doing some bad stuff to her.
He sure was.
It was bad. Like, it would be terrible. I'm happy this is not our main timeline, the one that we know and love so much. But
That's right.
I love how one thing could change something so dramatically.
That's right, yeah.
And Loki not being in the picture, I mean, not as his actual brother, changed him completely.
Yeah, it sure did.
Completely
Oh,
into a
gosh.
crazy party animal. I love all the references of him being a teenager and just like afraid of his mom. And even his mom, like when Odin went into the Odin sleep, like they were really worried
was
about
out.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
so
were
they're-
really worried. They stayed with him the whole time. They were scared for him, and they weren't sure how long it was going to last. And this time she's like, well, I'm leaving now and going with my girlfriends, and we're going out to do this. And
Yeah, I'm just gonna do a party.
very casual because it's happened before the Odin sleep, so it's just more like, okay, it's fine. And Thor is just like a pouty brat. Like, I love Party Thor though. Like, it's not good, but he was freaking hilarious. And
He was, and he landed in Las Vegas right off
of
the
course, Las
bat.
Vegas,
How awesome.
party place, woo!
And,
I mean,
and Jane Foster said, "I love you" to him accidentally.
I love that. I mean, that was a lot faster than the original. They never
Yes.
got married, but
That's right.
here, like, anything can happen in Vegas, and why not get hitched in Vegas? And I love their romance because that's always been the thing. They've always been so drawn to each other.
That's right.
They always, like, kind of, like, lose themselves and forget what they're trying to say. They stumble a lot, and it's just really cute. And I love that because here you have this god who everyone loves, apparently. I mean, everyone going, like, everyone from all these different movies, from Guardians, and
Oh my
just
gosh,
all
yeah.
these
That's right.
characters that are, like, secondary, third characters that you just don't see, and they're just in this. And it's
Yeah.
just great. And even Korg, and just so many great ones. The gold people from Guardians of the Galaxy that were
Oh,
playing,
that's
like,
right,
in their
yeah.
own arcade, kind of, and just in the simulation of, you know, going after the
my
Guardians. It just, I don't know. There's so many good moments,
So
but
much.
yeah, so Loki actually being his brother and being mischievous and messing with Thor, like, they really did get along as brothers and they loved each other. But, you know, their interactions had Thor learn right from wrong a lot.
That's right.
Mostly.
Yeah, and I actually thought Loki was going to be something of a menace at the end, where he didn't leave, and he was
That's
going
right.
to be. You know,
He was
the
a
big
friendly
menace that
party.
Captain Marvel will have to work with him.
The Ferris wheel thing, like, really? I'm like, thank God no one was on that or no one was in the path of rolling that thing. I'm like, that's freaking hilarious. And he's like
That's
cool,
funny.
but like, yeah, man, like, he's a party animal too, brother from another mother. And just
Well, that's funny.
so I think it's so cool how they showed Loki as his original form, because he was originally a frost giant, and Odin is the All-Father, so he is like the ultimate god. So when he adopted Loki, I guess he changed his form completely, because we've seen that in the movies where when he grabbed him and adopted him, he changed into like a more human form.
That's
And
right,
I
yeah.
guess that, you know, it just stayed with him. So I was always curious why that happened, and why, like, when he touched, it wasn't the Tesseract, but when he touched that other artifact in Asgard in the first movie, it was so long ago, I don't know if you guys remember, but when he touched this one artifact in the original movie, he didn't know he was adopted, and he turned, and he actually turned kind of blue. And he's like, what am I? And Odin said, "You're my son," but he never told him that he was adopted. So that really set him off on the wrong path because he was lied to. So I was curious on what he would look like as a frost giant. And hence the giant, actually the size difference too. Like that was fun to see.
Even the phone, he's not the phone. It's like
the phone,
all the humor in this was just perfectly balanced. Like it just was nonstop, and it just killed me. Like that was perfect.
And just the iconic things throughout the world. Whether it's in St. Louis or, Statue of Liberty, whatever. He just. Those party animals just ruined everything. And, Captain Marvel was trying so hard to just make him stop, and he was just having nothing to do with it.
Yeah. I love the fight, though. I don't want them fighting, but I'm sure a lot of people are curious because here you have Captain Marvel, who is so freaking powerful, and Thor is too. So seeing them match like that, and Captain Marvel probably would take out Thor because she was holding back because she didn't want to destroy anything on Earth, really. So, so that was pretty intense. And
it was because they were going from continent to continent.
Yeah, and Thor also, he isn't well disciplined. Like Frigga tries to keep him in control or disciplined, but he's like a crazy party animal. And in Ragnarok, Thor really upgraded, and he had to learn that Mjolnir harnessed his power, but it kind of contained it, but he was a lot stronger than Mjolnir. So he really upgraded when he discovered himself and that he had the lightning, the thunder inside of him, and became super strong that way. So he wasn't at that level here. So maybe if he was at that level, they would be still equally matched, if not more. So I'm curious what you guys have to say. Do you think Captain Marvel would win in the fight at her extreme, or with Thor at his extreme? Like, who would actually win that fight? I think it just all depends on circumstance, too.
Yeah, I think so, too.
I think Captain Marvel would win.
Yeah, I kind of think that, too. And it all depends on the playing field and where they are. If it's a place where they don't care about damaging anything, I think Captain Marvel would win. Yeah. But I think because she also, this Thor doesn't care. The other Thor, our Thor, would care, what he's damaging and stuff too. So, yeah, I think Captain Marvel. I love Thor, don't get me wrong, but
he's a party animal.
All these different...
Oh, he was a riot.
Yeah. All these alternate timelines, it's like a negative thing. Like, this was freaking hilarious, but it's bad. Like, it's just all chaos and they're destroying things. But luckily, Frigga, she came down and they had to clean up everything. Hopefully no one died.
Mommy, he's the most scared of Mom. And he really had to put a damper on things. And how Loki said to him, "Oh, you're sounding like, your father. You're sounding like a king. What are you doing? You're not, But he had to stop because his mom was going to be furious.
Oh boy,
I love that. He's like, she's not my mother. I'm leaving. I'm bouncing. Right. And the fun thing too about this is that you just accept the fact that they can speak Earth's lingos, like the different languages. Like, we're gonna bounce, and even the star systems with Jane talking to Thor about you were here and now it's destroyed, and why is that? And he knows exactly what they're talking about. So Midgard, Earth. He didn't realize it was called Earth or something. And I know he kind of maybe did, but he didn't really catch on to it until he arrived this time. How does the language become so universal where they just understand each other so well? That's true. Even talking on the phone.
If you're going to party, you gotta talk to the locals.
It's just so good because they just travel everywhere, and it's just like that universal language that everyone knows across the galaxy. And then even Rocket, it's just so funny how we just have these quick cameos of everyone.
Oh, yeah.
No explanation, and you just know, because we know the characters so well. It makes perfect sense. Even down to Howard the Duck, we're learning more about him. I know he was in the comic books, and we see him now and again. We saw him briefly in Guardians at one point, with the Collector, and then, he's more so in the cartoon now, which is hilarious. But just Rocket, Drax, we know what they're all about, so we just laugh at them when they're partying.
That's right.
Drax getting sick.
Mantis is there. And Nebula was there. Everybody.
My dad, and she actually brings up Thanos, which is great. Everything about it, I'm trying to think, there's just so many good parts in it, but I am really curious what you guys have to say. Please leave your comments below.
Yeah, and I think it really derives from Thor being, in the shenanigans, kind of Thor that we see here. I think it starts with his mom, because his mom was pretty much like, okay, he's done. I'm going to do my own thing, and you behave and you do what you're supposed to. And otherwise you don't want to see me come back to you. So it's because there's lack of parenting, really.
Yeah.
And
she just left him.
even though he's, of adult age, and she's, they're older, they're all older. They treat him like a child.
Yeah. So Loki, again, not being in the picture, he also probably kept not his mom in line, but also made her stricter or something.
Yeah,
to
more
kind of
checks and balances. Yeah.
Yeah. So there was a lot of change there.
That's something.
That's cool. I really like this one a lot. Like,
it's good, yes.
It's so bad. And
That's
at one
fantastic.
point, I had a dumb moment where when they're all talking and you see like this meteor coming down and it's Captain Marvel for the first time. We knew she was coming, but I kept thinking, Jane was asking how these other stars disappeared. Like, you didn't destroy these places, and that's what we were all thinking, right? So I started thinking once Loki arrived, because he just happened to be there just at that moment where we see this meteor coming in. I'll say it's Captain Marvel, but I thought like maybe they were attracting something that was just following them and would impact wherever they were, and they'd have to leave right before it hit, and then that's what would happen. Like, that's what happened in the history of things exploding. And then like, oh duh, it's Captain Marvel coming. I always like overthink things like so far beyond. I'm like, oh wait, no, I'm gonna like back up a little bit. No,
and I love how Darcy was like such a huge fan of Captain Marvel.
Everyone was pretty much true to their character. Yeah, because the humor was still there. I love Darcy and Jane Foster. I was sad to see Jane Foster kind of leave the MCU for a while. Well, it was really Natalie Portman who left, and I really enjoy her as Jane. So now she is coming back in the next Thor movie, so I'm really happy about that. I think Jane was always supposed to stay in the picture. I think in the comics she was always in the picture, but I think they did very well in the MCU, like to make it work where they just broke up and they don't explain why, and then and now she'll come back in some form. I don't know how they're gonna do that, but it's just cute how they kept everything how it was, where their personality stayed the same, where Jane even meeting Thor in this circumstance, like they still fell in love, and they were just like love at first sight, like, oh
yeah,
hello.
She was so starstruck. She didn't even want to talk to Hill or Coulson.
Yeah. Yeah, that was crazy. And Thor was even like, he was even so smitten by her. So I thought that was really cute, because here you have this God loved by all, and he could have anyone he wants, and he's just really just honing in on her, and just really it's just really attractive. I thought that was sweet, and he's even calling her too, because he's like such a busy guy and using a cell phone of all things, because he doesn't have one back on Asgard, I doubt. Like, oh, the cell service is great here, but to even call her back, and it's just it's very sweet.
It was.
So I like that, and Darcy just being Darcy, totally her persona.
Oh yeah,
I
love her.
Yeah, and I like her being a fan of Captain Marvel too, so that was really fun. So very good episode, guys.
Yes, I had to give
I liked it. I can't stop laughing. It was.
I couldn't stop laughing.
Moments.
Everything.
Yeah,
There's so many fun things about it. I enjoy it so much, and I have Maui. I keep looking over here. He's like pulling things off my wall now, and he's not moving over. Yeah, so I was trying to grab him at one point, but now he's pulling off a picture off the wall with his teeth. He's like, just picking at the corner of it. You can probably hear it picking on the mic.
Yes.
Oh, man. So I just want to sit and talk about this, but I think we'll end it there, guys. Love you all. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to check out the full reaction of this, you can check out our links below. On our Patreon, we have a huge library going, and we'll see you very soon, as always. Bye, guys.
Thanks. Bye.
God of parties.
That's right.